Hello and welcome back to the Mighty Chaos Podcast. I'm your host and storyteller, Therese Hicks, and tonight we'll be diving into the legend of Seven Sisters Road in Nebraska, and then easing into some cozy book talk and a bit of random chaos to wrap it up. New here, grab a snack and blanket. This is our community where spooky stories meet real conversations. Before I get into the story time of the Seven Sisters Road, there is violence in the story, so proceed with caution if you're not good with violence. The tale of the Seven Sisters Road dates back to the early 1900s in Otoe County, just south of Nebraska City. Legend says there was a farmer or a brother who lived nearby with 7 daughters or 7 sisters, depending on who you ask. One night, he snapped. Some say it was rage. Some say jealousy. Others say madness. Either way, the story goes that he hanged each of them from the trees along the 7 hills. Their bodies were never found. The killer disappeared. Eventually, the trees were cut down, and the area was paved into a road, leaving only 4 prominent hills visible today. Drivers say that when they go down this road at night, the lights in their car start to dim, only returning to normal once they turn off the road. Others claim they hear the screams of the 7 sisters echoing through the dark hills. There are also different versions of why it happened. In some, the brother is furious with his parents and takes it out on the sisters. In others, it hints that something darker or supernatural pushed him over the edge. And here are my thoughts on the Seven Sister Road. I think it is interesting that there are 2 different versions of the story, or that it kind of varies. It's either a farmer or the son that kind of commits such a horrible act, and like how the stories kind of like not really like correlate, but like how they kind of range and how they kind of differ from one another. Like it kind of goes more, I guess, in a more kind of, oh, this happened and this happened in like the son's tale versus like, well, he just kind of snapped in like the farmer's tale. It kind of seemed like there was more like that kind of led up to like what happened in a sense in like the son's tale, which kind of makes me wonder like which version is which, or which one was the original and which one was kind of added on, or if they both were the original ones and people kind of alter between the farmer or the son. But it is disheartening to hear. It's a horrible story about family tragedy and madness. And it's disheartening to hear that, like, when people do drive down that road, they hear, like, the screams of the sisters as they're kind of driving. And even, like, the lights kind of dimming. And as soon as they turn off the road, it kind of goes back to normal. So it's almost like when you go down that road, you kind of feel like a tension, or almost like the remnants of like what happened, or like that something horrible happened on that road, and that it will always kind of like linger there. But I think that's all I have to add on the Seven Sister Road. And on a lighter note, let's get into some book talk. So this week, when reading The Head Witch in Charge, we're now on Eric's point of view, which is Eleanor's love interest in the book. So as I kind of said in the last episode, it leads off with her kind of a girls trip to Las Vegas, pretty much. She's excited about her girls trip to Las Vegas with her friend. And we kind of start on Eric's point of view, where he's in Las Vegas, and he is kind of, I guess, keeping an eye on Eleanor because he has a plan to, as I mentioned, like her mom's kind of has an alliance with other families, so she's kind of having to pick from the suitors, and she's not excited about that, obviously. He's kind of at the hotel. It's for witches and, I guess, warlocks and wizards, or anyone that's kind of supernatural, but I think it's more catered to like witches, so everyone is like wearing a disguise. Everyone's wearing a disguise if they're like famous or something. So she's like in disguise, and Eric's in disguise, but he's kind of using a spell to kind of see through the glamour of her magic, and he knows it's her. So he pretty much has a plan to try to marry her, because he's like, in his disguise, he's a nerd, and he wants to marry her, or try to marry her, because his plan is, when they have the ceremony to transfer the magic to the next head in charge, his father plans to steal all his magic and try to lie to the council and say that the magic rejected him. But he told this all to Eric, and Eric made his own plan to make sure that doesn't happen. So we kind of get a bit into his mindset, and I'm not gonna lie, when I kind of started reading his point of view, I kind of got the ick because he kind of just said like, I plan to marry her, like, but she won't know it's me because their family obviously are not on good terms, like they're enemies because because his family kind of lies, his family lies and cheats, and they're known for doing that in their which community they're known for just being evil or just twisted, or their morals are just not, obviously their morals are not the best, and he even kind of admitted that when you kind of read his chapter, when you read his chapter, he kind of literally says like he lies, cheats, and steals. So that kind of gives you an insight on his ethics. But when he kind of explained like he wanted the magic to kind of, I guess, die with him than his family's bloodline, because he doesn't pretty much want his siblings to kind of have to carry like the kind of dark and twisted kind of like the rumors of like their family, but I guess they're not rumors in a sense, like just to kind of carry that weight of like what carries of like what their family's known of. So he wants them to have a normal life, and he doesn't mind if he kind of lets the magic, he doesn't mind that the magic's kind of like gonna end with him if he ends up marrying Eleanor. But and I thought that was kind of interesting because of what he kind of said. It kind of didn't match what he was kind of saying in a sense. Like it kind of seemed like, okay, like he cares about his siblings and he doesn't want them to kind of carry that burden of that his family kind of carried for like centuries. And that's going to be interesting to kind of see as I continue to read. So I don't have like a good feeling about his character, honestly, because of what he kind of said, obviously. But I think it is a pretty good book so far. And I think, no, I want Eleanor to kind of, I really want to read Eleanor's part again after his point of view, because I want to know if she's kind of actually doing the same thing to kind of tell if it's like if she knows it's him kind of in his nerd disguise, because I feel like she would know. He kind of is like, I hope she doesn't, because if I came in here like as myself, she kind of would turn me into like a toad or like a stool or something like that, and it would take him a while to kind of change back into human form. So it's going to be interesting their dynamic and kind of how they get to know one another, or their relationship changing throughout the book. And I really look forward to kind of continuing this book, updating you guys on it. But that's it on the update about the book. But I do have a list. I do have a part 2 of the list of books I want to read. So, because I only mentioned 3 last time, but here are a few more I want to read. So, the first one would be Love Among Us Thieves by Katrina Kwan. And I think it was kind of like a Robin Hood, but like the main character, she kind of, what I'm kind of getting is like she's kind of like the girl version or the woman version of Robin Hood. And I really think it's going to be interesting. And she falls in love with the businessman from what it looks like on the cover, from the cover. So that would be an interesting read to read. And then the second one, this is a series I've read. I think I read it the last book in it, or like the second book. I'm not really sure how many books is in this. I'm not really sure how many books are in the series, but I did read the last 2 before this third one come out, or before this third or fourth one came out. It comes out in the fall this year. So it's called Father Material by Alexis Hall. And they have a lot of books out, but but I only ever read like their book. I've tried to read other books, but I couldn't really get into them. But this book series specifically, I don't know the name of it, and I can't really think of the name of the first 2, but I do like this one, and it is a good book series, and they're a good author, so read their books. So you should read their books. But another one is Handle with Care by Hayden Stone, and I saw this one, and I think I read the blurb a little bit, and it's about 2 historians, and it's like one position, either job or internship, or I think they're both doing an internship at like a museum, and there's only one position. And by the end of the summer, one of them is going to have the job, but in the process, they both fall in love with each other, or start to fall in love with each other, or like each other. So I really want to read that. And these 2, I have like the physical books of them. So this one is Making It by Laura Kay, and I kind of read the first page of it, and it kind of drew me in because the main character kind of suffers with mental health, and I do as well. And she's moving to a different city, and I think she's living with her uncle, I want to say. So it kind of starts with them talking, and then she has like a different sense of humor. So her uncle's like, wait, what did you say? And that kind of got my attention. So I was like, I want to read this because I feel like the main character is going to be good. And then the last one is Salty Spiced and a Little Nice by Cynthia Tommy. And this one I read as well. because that's what I do with books. I kind of read the first one or kind of get a feel for like the book, and if I like it, I get it. So this one, it kind of started with either I think the main character was gonna get proposed to, but then I guess she didn't say yes. And I think she kind of talks about that. I can't really remember because it's been a while since I've read like the first page of it. But yeah, like it was pretty interesting, and I was like, I kind of want to see what this main character like with her story. So that's gonna be interesting, and I think she's like a baker. So and I'm kind of into cooking and baking, and I want to get better at it because I haven't really been able to do that. But now that now that I'm graduating, I can get more into different hobbies, which I would love to do. But that's the end of the list for now. I will let you guys know of other books I want to read as well, or continue to let you know. And you guys can comment below or send me an email of good books that you may have. As I said before, I am a picky reader, and I do not want to read any heavy stuff. But if you have any lighthearted books or cozy vibe books, please send them my way, because I am trying to read different books and kind of get out of my comfort zone of just sticking to one specific genre, because I want to read different ones. And I know I definitely want to read more about journalism, even though I'm kind of I say kind of, I mean, even though I'm getting a bachelor's degree in it, I still want to learn more about it because I can tighten my skills at being a journalist or a reporter and get better at kind of storytelling, because there's always room for improvement, especially in writing and kind of like growing as a person. But that's all for book chat for now. Now let's get into some random chaos. So for this week's chaos, I wanted to talk about my favorite YouTubers, and I have a lot of them. And some of them I recently have started watching, so while others I've been watching them for quite a long time, for years even, or some I've been watching off and on. But the first one is Kevin Lang. If you haven't heard of him, he's pretty big now. But I started watching him, I want to say in ninth grade or somewhere in high school. But I love his videos because they kind of started off like with his friends, or like the friends he was friends with at the time. And then as like he's kind of grown, if you've seen his channel now, like he has like his own show. He has his own show, The Kevin Lang Show, if you've heard of it. And every Saturday they do a different episode of Guess This Person each week, and it's like a different topic, and they bring people in, him and his friends, and they have to guess who is who, and they all vote at the end. They do different like kind of activities to see if they can kind of narrow down who is who, or like who's the person that the topic of the episode was about. And then he has a second channel where him and his friends play games with one another, and they just kind of relax and kind of chill. But they both come out on Saturday, one at like 11 and the other one at noon. So if you want to watch someone new, you should check him out. The second one is UDY. I also started watching him when I was in high school, and his channel, well, Sergio, he's the owner of the channel. Him and his crew or friends, they kind of, at first they tested like gold diggers and cheaters. Well, they catch cheaters more now than kind of like gold diggers. And I've always kind of liked his videos. Some people say they're like staged, and they probably are, honestly. Now that I kind of think about it, and kind of when you watch it, it kind of seems more staged now than in the past. But he started posting more frequently now, which is kind of nice, because sometimes he would kind of go about like months without posting. And honestly, I kind of get it, because in the process of kind of like doing a podcast, I kind of understand why YouTubers, or even kind of like other people like artists and other kind of like jobs within like the content creation, like take a long time to post or edit things, because it is a lot and it's kind of stressful and it can burn people out. But his videos are pretty much mainly about catching people, I guess, filling out a form, and him and his friends talk with them. Then they figure out what kind of scenario or test kind of works for them, and they test their partner and see if they cheat or not. His videos are good. If you like that kind of content or is interesting to you, you should check him out. My next one is not even Emily. You've probably heard of her because she was on Vine, but I think I started watching her last year or the year before that, and I like her videos because they're kind of like video essays, in a sense. Like they kind of go into different topics about different trends, like Gen Z trends or dating culture or anything around the lines of that. And she's also an actress, so she kind of posts her short films on her channel, and she'll do different types of videos as well, but like the video kind of format of like going into a certain like analysis kind of video is more her style, but she'll do confessions and she'll play games as well. Like she'll do some gaming on her channel as well. But she is like, her humor is kind of funny. Like she kind of like a dry, kind of a deadpan humor, I want to say. So she is interesting. So if you like that kind of content, you'll love her. So check her out as well. We have Joshua Westman, and he's a professional chef. I've watched him off and on, and he makes different videos from simpler foods to make, or just like recipes you can do as a college student or want to learn, or recipes you may want to learn, or if you're a beginner, recipes you may want to learn, or if you're a beginner and you want to start cooking. He has another channel that goes into recipes that are easier to kind of make, or kind of like ease you into cooking if you're a beginner, or whatever kind of level of cooking you may be in. But in his main channel, he has videos where he kind of will travel the world with his cameraman and other crew, and he'll test out different foods from different states or countries and kind of rank them. And it's interesting to kind of see the different dishes that he tries, and it kind of makes you want to travel the world and try different things. And I know I want to do traveling as I kind of go into my journalism and kind of write more about food and culture and the arts. So those are interests of mine. But I always wanted to kind of go to culinary school as well. But he did kind of say, like, if you do want to go into cooking, like, you don't really need to go to culinary school to do it, because he just worked at different restaurants and he kind of learned different skills and techniques. And I'm like that as a person as well. Like, I like to draw, but I haven't done it in a while. And I know when I've known people that can draw really well, I kind of pick up on different skills they do as well, or just little details they may do, and kind of incorporate that into my kind of doodling, or into my sketching or drawing. And it kind of helps a little bit. It goes a long way. But I know writing's more for me, even though I like to do art and I want to improve on my art and other skills as well, and just try new things. So that's why I like him. And some people may feel biased about him and his videos, but I think he's a good chef and you should check him out. My next one is new as well. His name is Vincent Joseph, and he usually does character edit ranking, and he reads his subscribers' confessions. And he's just funny, and his sister's also a YouTuber, but he's hilarious. His subscribers pretty much traumatize him when he kind of reads their confessions. So it's just every time he just has to pause for a minute, like, what did I just read? Kind of. So it's just interesting watching his videos, and then it's also relatable because he's also in college like me, or he's also kind of finding the balance between like uploading and kind of figuring out what works with his channel. So that's kind of nice to kind of see someone that's also in college figure out what works best for their channel, or being a content creator. This is another new one, Brooke Alicia, and she's recent, but she posts vlogs and episodes, videos, like the game episode. So she posts episode videos, if you know the game episode, and she'll kind of read those and pick a certain episode and read it in like her videos, and read it in her videos. And I've watched a few of her vlogs, because she did some book talk, and she also has like vlogs like where she kind of will go to the gym or something like that, or just go traveling. But I mostly watch her episode videos, but she's a good YouTuber as well. So if you're into kind of that kind of lifestyle vlogs or just episode games, you should watch her. Then we have Debs Michael, and I'm gonna tell you right now, this girl's unhinged. She does different videos, but she will kind of watch edit videos, but she's well known on YouTube for doing confession videos. And I feel like she be kind of getting traumatized with her videos as well, but she kind of she'll traumatize me as well when I kind of watch her videos, because she'll be saying some crazy stuff, and it's wild. It's wild to listen to, and it's hilarious, but I love her as well. And I think it's just interesting to kind of watch more YouTubers like around my age. Like, she just graduated college and she's kind of figuring things out as well, so that's kind of nice to kind of watch YouTubers that are more in that kind of stage of life where there's like, okay, like I need to figure out my career, or I'm going to college, and it's just the stresses of those kind of interlocking and those crossing pretty much. My next one is Ali Fitz, and she is an old one, but I've watched her off and on as well. And she does episode videos as well, and she's a singer. If you've heard of the name, she used to be a Viner as well. And I love her videos and she's a good singer, so you should check her out, but she's hilarious as well. and relatable. And my last one is Mr. Nightmare, and I've watched him since high school as well. And he goes over his viewers' stories, like he'll read them in his videos, and you kind of get like the horror and kind of scary story vibe when listening to his videos. And they're just like nice to listen to in the background when you're kind of doing something like cleaning or doing work. It's just, it works with kind of just if you're doing something like, or just going for a walk or something like that. But he's a good storyteller. You should check him out. And I have a few more that I didn't mention, but let me know if you guys want to hear about them. As for now, this is the end of Random Chaos. Now this wraps up today's Cozy Chaos. We explored the eerie legend of the Seven Sisters Road in Nebraska. I shared a few of my book thoughts along with a few books I look forward to coming out this year or I look forward to reading this year. And then we went in a little bit into Random Chaos about any future topics or chats you guys may want me to cover, along with a rant about my day or semester again. And if this made you feel at home, please follow on Spotify for more monthly or sometimes weekly episodes, and send me your horror or paranormal experiences, urban legends, book recs, or your own chaotic moments at themightychaospodcast@gmail.com, because your voice belongs here. And this has been your host and storyteller, Therese Hicks, signing off from the Mighty Chaos Podcast. Stay cozy and curious, and tune in next week for the Phantom Hitchhiker on Highway 12 urban legend.